Hey there gamers, welcome back to the Board Game Co channel, and today we have a preview of Teburu Dungeon Sword Sorcery. Hey there gamers, it's Professor Meg here, and welcome back to the Board Game Co channel. Today we have a preview of Teburu Dungeon Sword Sorcery. Now thank you to the sponsor for sponsoring this video. This is also a demo kit in front of me, so all of the components for the actual game itself are subject to change, but you may have heard me say Teburu and Sword Sorcery. Now Teburu is going to be an actual console system that you have here in front of me, and that's going to be a console that you're able to use for a bunch of different games. So it's going to be a board here that you actually plug in, and then you have some electronic dice where when you're using these for attacks, it's going to register the sides that it's rolled on and do all of the calculations for you. It also tracks things like where your heroes are and as you move through the board, and it tells you exactly where to place tiles, so it knows the tiles from the game and where you're going to be placing those, and just makes sure that everything is as it should be. Now because of that, the game is going to be on this app here where you're able to play it either on one tablet with everyone all together, or you're also able to use other devices. So other players could have their characters controlled on their phones in front of them and things like that, where you can have the main tablet for everyone to see for the game. So this is going to be a very electronic based game, but that being said, this app is going to walk you through everything and make the gameplay really, really easy and engaging. Now on top of that, this is going to have some narrative elements where it's going to read out bits of the story for you, because this is a dungeon crawler campaign where you're going to have a lot of narrative elements happening, and sometimes you'll have choices of what you want to do. So if you'd like to see exactly how this game plays, especially some more of those narrative elements, there will be a gameplay on the channel with Alex and I, so stay tuned for that. But with that being said, I'm going to jump into a little bit of the setup first, as the app would show you that piece, before I go into a little bit more about what the gameplay is like. So here you can see that the app is telling us to place the tiles. So we place tile 1A here, and then we'll just hit ready. This is after hitting new game. And then it wants us to place the smart tiles. So this is how we're going to explore new areas, but it also wants us to place that, and it knows that that tile is there. Now you have the 4 heroes that you are playing with, and this is when you would put all of those miniatures onto the board as well in the starting spot. So you can see how the app walks you through exactly how to get started, and honestly, you really get started in no time. That it sets you up with everything you need and can walk you through a lot. So after that, we'll hit ready, and then we have our enemies to place. So you can see that there are 2 gremlins up in this room here. So we're just going to place them up here as well for our heroes to face off against. And then we also have the altar tile. So we're going to place that as well here in the heroes area. And then here you can see this is the narrative element where it's actually reading this out loud if I have the volume turned up for you guys. And you would see why you're doing the current story that you're doing. So I am going to skip past that. You can see that in the gameplay if you would like. But then you can see that it immediately turns you over to round 1 of 6, because this one is a current challenge where you have 6 rounds to accomplish your goal, and you can see the 4 heroes that you have to choose from. Now all of these heroes are going to have cards available to them, and you're going to use those to do your different actions. Now the thing that's very tricky is they have cooldowns, so certain abilities you might use and want to use again, but you can't quite yet because you already used it before. So there is a pacing as well to this game where you need to decide what you want to do then, but players are going to be choosing between the 4 heroes who they want to go first, and you're going to choose the order of who takes turns after that. Now every round that will reset, so you can have a different character start each round, and you can kind of pivot to what's happening. So for example, Shay here could go first in this round and then not go again until last in round 2. So players are going to be able to choose who they want to activate, but the thing that's very important is that the enemies are always going to activate after them as well. Now, the enemies don't always all activate at once, but they definitely have a phase where you have to be aware of what's going to happen before they're able to come in and attack you. So for this, we're going to say ready, and then I'm going to walk you through what some of those cards are going to look like for players. Now keep in mind, this is the main tablet, so you would be using this to designate who's activating the current turn of which character, but if you're playing with a lot of people, you can have everyone using their phone or a tablet to select their cards, their actions that they're going to do, and control their own characters, or you can decide for everyone to use the same tablet. So taking a look here, we'll activate Shay, and so it's going to start her turn first, and now you can see those cards that I said that are available. So these are the actions, and down here you can see that she currently has 3 movement, 1 fight, and 2 other activations. So we do have sneak attack and dagger here, but you have to be in close combat, so she's not quite close enough to attack anyone with that yet. She is able to go into hiding, but hidden isn't great yet if we want to attack first. We have acrobatic move, which is move 1, ignoring enemies, which is really great. And then until the time phase, damage increase 1. And then also we could dash, which is once per round, perform an extra movement. So for now, being a rogue, I think that it's in Shay's best interest to move up, do some damage, and then go hidden, because you'll see in the gameplay if you'd like to check that out, but for rogues, going hidden is really, really fun and what it's all about. So we are going to choose to move her, and you can see it from the map here. You'll actually see her move throughout the map. So we're going to take her and have her go to the center of this spot here. And then we're going to move her 1 more forward up to the gremlin. So you can see now she's currently up there and she's used 2 of her movement. So now we can have her choose to attack with her dagger, and we're able to add our focus to do an extra damage. So we will do that, and we're going to attack the weaker gremlin. So let's select him, confirm, and then this is where your attacking is going to take place. So to wake up the dice and activate them, you'll shake them. You can see that they're currently ready now, and then you want to roll them onto the board here. So you can see where we rolled some stars and some shields, and we're going to do some damage over to the gremlin. Now all of this is going to be automated, as you can see through the app, that all you really need to do is roll the dice and it will go through all of the different phases of what's happening for you. But you can see that we did take out the green gremlin. We did as much damage as we needed to. So we inflicted the damage. They're dead. They dropped 5 money as loot, and the party receives 1 soul point. So that was our rewards for taking them out. And now to update the board, we have to remove him off. So now we can choose to go hidden, because that would be really great for us. So we're going to choose to use it. We are now currently hiding, and that's going to be the end of Shay's turn. So we'll hold this, and that's going to end her turn. And now you can see that the blue enemy is going to activate. So the blue enemy moved down toward this area because Shay was hidden, and because our Oriole is the weakest hero into this area, they are currently being attacked. So we are going to roll a defense die for her. And unfortunately, we were not able to roll that much defense, but we were shielded, so we didn't have to take any damage there. So continuing now, we could go on to the next player's turn, and I'll just show you again what that may look like with a more melee character. So here we can activate Thorgar, and he's currently in the area with the blue gremlin, so we can attack him right away. So we can do this until the time phase. Target hero gains damage increase by 2. Let's do that just to show you guys what that would be like, but when we use it, we're going to have to show that we are targeting the specific area. So we're going to use our targeting marker here, go over there, and then we're going to select ourselves as the target for that spell. And now our damage is increased. And then let's attempt to Divine Smite and take this guy out. So we're going to use that. We're going to attack the blue gremlin, confirm. And then again, we're going to wake up our 3 dice this time and see how that goes. Okay. Now this is going to be a great example to show you, because when you roll specific symbols, you're also able to activate certain things. So based on what we rolled, we're actually able to activate certain abilities that are going to make this attack even better for us. Now if this was later game, it would be even better, because we do have some options, such as heroes in your area receive heal 1, but currently we don't need to heal anyone. So we are able to use this to do an additional 2 damage. Now we already have 7, so that's very, very strong, and we don't need that much anyway. But another thing we would be able to do is bash. Now you can also see that we have area dominated. That's because we currently are dominating this area based on how many heroes we have and our presence up against the gremlins. So we'll choose to do the +2 damage, and we can bash as well, but there's no way he's making it. Bash would be pushing him out of his space, but we're doing a ton of damage his way, so I don't think we have to worry about that particular part. All right, and as predicted, he was taken out, and now we will update the board by removing him. And now I'm going to have our guy go 1, 2, and have Thorgar move forward. But now that we are up in this area, 2, All right, so now that we are up in this area, we're actually able to uncover this as well. Now, this is slight spoiler territory, but I think it's really important to show you how these different tiles are going to be placed. So I am going to show you quickly, but slight spoiler for one of the scenarios. So we are going to have him remove this, and that's how you explore in that particular area. So now you can see there is some narrative to go through, and then it has you place a new tile. So you're going to place map tiles 2A. So that means that we're going to take this board here, place it out here, but this is placed again. So we'll say ready, then we're going to place our smart tile. So there's another door for us to discover over here. That's also ready. And then we have a few tokens to place out. So we will be placing a token here, ready, and that is that. Now, other things may happen as you move out into this room because a lot of things will trigger, especially narratively, based on the things that you're doing, but that is where I'm going to leave off, at least showing you these pieces of how you play through the game, because I do highly suggest checking out the gameplay on the channel to see how combat can get really complex and really, really dangerous, but I don't want to spoil too much for you, and it really is interesting how it takes you through the different dungeons. There's going to be a ton of complexity in these different cards and what you're choosing, because the piece that you didn't really get to see yet is this cooldown. So things are currently on cooldown. For example, our Divine Smite, we aren't able to use for another 4 turns. So this does tick down, and some things you are able to do every turn. For example, our Battle Hammer here, we're always able to use, but you are going to have that cooldown that can be really, really important for how you pace out the things that you're doing. Now you're going to have other things that affect you, such as your range, and an example here for Thorgar is that he does have cards such as Heal Wounds, where he can heal 2 for allies. So there's a lot of versatility for the things that you're going to be able to do. There are some characters that are going to be able to target spells at range toward enemies to perhaps knock them prone and things like that, and as you saw with Shay, she is able to go hidden and then possibly come up and do a pretty lethal turn later. So we can end Thorgar's turn, and I'm not going to explore more into the area, but I am going to choose another character just to show you a little bit more of their cards as well. So here we have Icarus, and you can see that he also tends to attack, where he can defend, he has a shield, but he has his sword attack, and then he also is able to taunt, which is great because he has 10 health as opposed to Shay and Ariel, who have 6 health, and he has a couple other things available to him too as actions, such as all enemies will be blinded. This is a weapon strike, or once per round, perform an extra movement, where dash is going to be super, super important, especially when you're playing those scenarios that are limited by a number of rounds, so you need to try to move around quickly to get to the things you need to do. Now, in my opinion, these heroes are going to be extremely satisfying. You're going to have these cooldowns where you're pacing out your abilities and the things that you're trying to do while perhaps gaining a few cards along the way that are things like one-time uses such as potions, but you're going to use your different abilities, pace out those cooldowns to try to work together as a team when you're trying to work through the different things that these scenarios are going to demand of you. So, for example, this one you are trying to go within a certain number of rounds throughout what you're trying to find, but that being said, everyone is going to have to work together to be able to accomplish the main goal, because this game is a bit tough where the enemies are quite strong and there are surprises, and there are also other things such as elements within the rooms that can really affect you. So you're going to be working together, but you're also really going to be using those abilities that you have and crunching through your mind to try to decide what you want to use now to be able to pace out and use later, and what things are strong depending on what heroes go before you and after you. In Teburu Dungeon Sword and Sorcery, players are going to be playing through the campaign arc as well, which is going to be saved within the game system for you. So you are going to be gaining things like money that you're going to be able to spend collectively on different things after you're done with the different scenarios. And this is going to be a way for you to really show a progression in the game, but one of the most satisfying parts is that it is all tracked within the app. So while you are making decisions and things are happening, you don't have to track anything, and you can really trust the math and how things are interacting and what's happening because the tablet is taking care of all of those aspects for you. I did find that you're very much able to lean into the dungeon crawler element and the excitement of maneuvering around the board and trying to attack for as much as possible and rolling all of your different dice. So I think that it's very interesting that you're able to focus on what you have available to you and have fun rolling the dice, where the app is going to take care of the things like dealing the different damage, having the enemies move, and handling things like that. But one of the best parts is that it's also going to handle surprises. So you might start moving somewhere thinking you know what you're going to do, and then surprise, something triggers and it will stop you and let you know what's happening. So I think that's just a really strong suit of it, is that the game is not only able to do a lot of the math for you and have it figure out what's happening during the different battles, but it's also able to surprise you based on the different decisions that you're making. So as I said, please check out the gameplay on the channel with Alex and I, because that will show you so much about all of the different heroes and how they're able to maneuver around the board. This has been a preview of Teburu Dungeon, a Sword and Sorcery. I've been Professor Meg, and thank you all for watching the Board Game Co channel. I'll see you next time. Bye!